Morning. It's Monday, March 11th, and here's the good news. The SAT exams are back, and the SAT exams are going all digital, but the students have mixed reviews on the new format, so that's the bad news. The SATs have been set up differently than they have been in the past. In the past, there were long paragraphs to read, and you had to use a pencil. In this new version, there are much shorter paragraphs. Math is the toughest part of the exam, and you do not have to use a pencil. The exam is given on a laptop or a tablet or some other form of computer, and this is not getting 100% good reviews. One of the things is that many of the exams have very short paragraphs, whereas the older exam had a section where you really had to read, and you had to go through it entirely because there were 7 or 8 questions associated with that page of information. That's not the way this exam is set up. This exam is a paragraph and an answer, so to speak. So they have made it easier for the students. I don't know that that's good, making it easier in terms of the way you have to work your way through the exam. But the setup is now no longer 3 hours. It's now a 2-hour and 14-minute exam. Now, don't ask me how they come up with a time like 2 hours and 14 minutes. That doesn't make any sense to me. 2:15 would be okay. 2 would be okay. 2:30 would be okay. But 2:14, is that a magic number? In any event, if you're college bound or you intend to go to college at some point, you should be taking these SAT exams. And the SAT exams in this new format are being used by most of the schools, but not by Harvard or Princeton or some of the Ivies. They're kind of sticking to the old format. Now, I don't know why there should be 2 formats. I don't know why they even bother changing it. I can understand the need for some digital expertise in this society, and that could have been somehow arranged in the old format, perhaps. So that's the new format that the examiners have come up with, and there are many students who really like the old format and they like the idea that they had to write with a pencil. But I think on balance, most of them were okay, happy doing this thing digitally, so to speak. But here's a very interesting fact that came out. This is a major change in the way this exam, in my mind, should be counted as an entrance exam for any university. Because this exam is not going to be the same for every single student. As you work your way through this exam, and depending upon the way that you have answered questions, this digital exam is going to change the questions that you continue to get based upon the previous answers. So let's say you're doing poor in English. That might lead you to a different section in the mathematics there where they made it easier. Or maybe if you were doing great in math, you would get tougher English questions or tougher history questions. Now, that's not the way an exam should be given, in my mind. If you have an exam that you're given and you're going to choose people to go to college based on the results of this examination, then it seems to me that the only right way to give an exam is to give everybody the same questions. What good is it if they tailor-make the exam to my appearance of being expert at one particular section or whatever way they're going to use to justify the giving of different questions to me than my neighbor? That is not correct in my mind. So I think this adjustment just to bring back the SATs is poor. I can understand bringing it back and not wanting to use pencils or something like that. But it seems to me that everybody should be taking the same exact exam. Now, if you have a problem with English, which many people do these days, and you can see that by the qualifications that are asked for on entrance papers and everything. So if you're not a great English student, maybe you should take the exam in Spanish or French or something like that. Just get on. I mean, if this is a computer-driven exam, then just get on and say, I want to take the exam in French. And you do the whole exam in the language of your choice. I don't necessarily think that's the correct thing to do, being that we are supposed to be an English-speaking nation. But English seems to be a dying language anyhow here in this country. So this new methodology for giving the SAT examinations is not exactly the way I would have thought it should come about. I could appreciate the fact that they want to have a shorter exam. But somehow or other, being able to sit through 3 tough hours, and maybe only 2.5 hours for those who are very qualified, is something that's important also. There's some importance to being able to stay at a task for a given amount of time, and not being able to run out of the room quickly. Because if you wanted to have them run out of the room, you could make everything multiple choice. You could say 2 plus 2, and then give them 4 different numbers, and then they have to pick the right number that identifies 2 plus 2, the answer to that question, that tough question. Or maybe multiplication, 7 times 5 plus 47 or something like that. And then they got a multiple choice for that also. Wouldn't that be great? Then you wouldn't have to know any math at all, probably, or very little math. So if they're bringing out an SAT exam, a 2-hour and 14-minute exam, and making it too easy for students to sit through, they're doing us a disservice to these college applicants. Exams should be tough, but recognizably tough, so that you can understand the quality of the student, because they're not good in, say, math, or they're not good in English, or they're not good in some other part of the exam, history, or whatever else is on these exams. The object of the game is to get college entrants who are exceptional, to be able to identify those with the skills and intelligence to go to college, not to make exams easy for everybody. We have a 75% rate right now of college entrance from the SATs. Maybe they should raise that level. Maybe they should lower it. In any event, that's what I think about this morning. Have a great day. See you in the morning. Bye.